What's up, YouTube? I recently released a video called 10 Myths About Prison, where I talked about things that people believe are true about prison, and for the most part, most of them are not true. And in this video, I'm going to talk about something else that I consider a myth, and it is getting a job with a felony. And a lot of people seem to believe that it is almost impossible to get a job with a felony. So I am going to talk about my experiences. I'm going to talk about what kind of jobs you can get with a felony. I'm going to talk about what most people do when they get out of prison in this video. So stay tuned, like and subscribe. Let's get started. So I feel that this myth is actually perpetuated very heavily inside of prison. When I was in prison, a lot of the OGs, a lot of the people who had done multiple prison sentences told me things like, hey, when you get out, it's going to be really hard. Nobody wants to hire somebody who just did 7 years in prison. Nobody wants to hire a kid who has a bunch of tattoos. Nobody is going to even, give you a second chance once they see that little check mark at the bottom of your application that says you are a convicted felon. You're not going to be able to rent an apartment. And I remember when I was in prison, I kept hearing this over and over and over. And after a certain point, I actually enjoyed hearing it. I liked when people told me this because it just gave me fuel to get out and prove them wrong. I knew they were all wrong. Like, I knew without a doubt, even before I had been released, even before I had ever been free as a convicted felon, I knew I was going to prove every single one of them wrong. And I feel like most of the people in prison use that as an excuse to justify why they keep going in and out of prison, to use that as an excuse to justify why they haven't gotten their lives together. And they'll sit there and just say, like, everything is against us, the system is against us, and that is just simply not true. So the truth is, yes, there are some jobs that will not hire convicted felons. And there are a lot of other jobs that will hire convicted felons. Obviously, you can't get a job doing most things that require a security clearance, right? You're probably not going to be able to go out and become a police officer. You can't go work at a nuclear power plant, for example. You can't run for office and be a senator. You can't get an insurance license to be a realtor unless it's been a certain amount of time since your release. You also can't get a license to sell insurance unless it's been a certain amount of time since your release. So there are definitely some jobs that you cannot do as soon as you get out of prison. But the truth is, there are a lot more jobs that you can do than there is jobs that you cannot do. So, for example, construction. Construction does not care, and construction pays very well. I got a buddy down in Tucson. He does huge construction projects. He's making like 90 grand a year right now. I was in prison with him. He's just a kid. He's maybe, I'm 34, so he's probably 30, 31, and he's been out for probably 5 or 6 years now, and he is crushing it. I'm actually going to get him on my channel because he's one of the hardest working people I know, and he does all different types of construction. I know he was like building these big underground tunnels for a long time, and he makes really good money. You can get a job at a retail store. I know guys who've gotten out and gotten jobs at gas stations, guys who've gotten jobs at Walmart, guys who've gotten jobs at Fry's, and maybe that's not very luxurious or glamorous or whatever you want to call it, but hey, it's a job. And when you're first getting out of prison, staying busy with a job, in my opinion, is the #1 thing you can do in order to not go back to prison. You can get jobs doing customer service. You can get jobs doing transportation. I know a lot of guys that got out of prison that drove for Uber. Now, they're not going to let you drive if you have certain charges, right? Like, I think if you have violent charges, aggravated assault, kidnapping, obviously, they don't want those people driving Uber, especially when Uber's been in the news lately for things happening to their drivers. So that makes sense. You can get a job as an accountant. You can get out of prison, go to college, get a degree in accounting, go take the CPA exam for the state, and go become an accountant for a private company if you want to and make $100,000 a year. There's literally no limit to the amount of jobs or career paths or titles you can hold after you get out of prison. It's just an excuse that people use. Now, my personal recommendation, if you're just getting out of prison, is to go into sales, either in-person sales or telemarketing. Most convicts, most people in prison are natural salesmen. In fact, most of the people you meet in prison, they have the gift of gab. I have met some of the best salesmen ever in prison. In fact, our company, we hire salesmen, and the vast majority of the people that work for our company have been to prison at some point in time. I'd say out of our 30 employees, probably 20 of them have been to prison. And I'll get some of them on this channel too to talk about their experience in sales. And the other great thing with sales is that you can make any amount of money. You write your own paycheck. So if you're just getting out of prison, you don't know what to do for your first job, go apply doing sales, right? And if you don't want to do sales, then go do something you enjoy doing. If you're just getting out of prison, do not take a job you hate. Do not take a job you're going to be miserable at, because it's not going to work out for you. You're going to get demotivated when you get fired, or you're going to get, upset and quit, and then it's just going to all be downhill from there. So go find something that you enjoy doing. And how do you even get hired with a felony? Well, the first thing is to be positive. Don't go into it with a negative mindset. Don't go into it telling yourself this is going to be impossible, nobody's going to hire me. Just be positive and literally manifest it. Look for a job that you can see yourself doing for a couple of years. Think about something you would enjoy and go apply at 50 companies that do that. Look for a job that fits your personality. If you're really, out there, you're an extrovert, you like talking to people, then go do something in sales or customer service. But if you're an introvert and maybe you're really tech savvy, go get a job doing, IT or something like that. Go to college. Everybody is hiring. There are hiring signs everywhere. I hate when people get out of prison and they tell me I can't find a job, nobody will hire me. That is such bullshit. You are so full of shit. But the problem is you're lying to yourself. I don't care if you lie to me. You can lie to whoever you want to lie to. Don't lie to yourself. Don't sit there and tell yourself that you can't get a job, because then you're literally manifesting it into reality. Finally, be honest. When you go into these job interviews, be honest. There's no point lying to these people and then having to worry about whether or not they're going to find out in 2 or 3 months. Be honest, be open, tell the truth, work hard, show up early. Just don't give your boss an excuse to fire you or get rid of you or demote you. Just bust your ass. And if you're just getting out of prison, within a year, within 2 years, you can have your whole life back, and a lot of the times catch up to other people who are your age. I've seen a lot of guys do it. I've seen guys get out, get sales jobs, start making, $1,200 a week, $1,500 a week, $2,000 a week, and within a couple of years, they've got a house, they've got a car, they've got their family, and they've got a completely normal life. So, can people get a job with a felony on their record? Absolutely, yes. Is it hard? No, it's not hard. Getting a job with a felony is not hard. I make videos about change. I make videos about positivity. I spent 7 years in prison. I got out of prison. I got a job doing sales. The day I got out of prison, I got out on a Friday, and I started working on Monday. So if you guys like this type of content, you want to see stuff about prison, you want to see stuff about positivity or self-improvement, subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I really appreciate it, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next ones.